Hello. Welcome. Good morning. It's Thursday. No, it's not. Is it Thursday or Friday? God, I've lost track this week. It's just been so fast. It's Friday. It's been so fast, and there's so much going on that I want to bring you a news report from the Jester News. So beep 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 beep. All that's new and approved from the Ask Gravy of Newsness. Welcome. I had to do this quickly because I've just spoken to a few friends who've sent me the links. An unbelievable title has appeared today in the Telegraph. The title of the Telegraph article, which I think should win the best article for title of an article award for the year, is "Civil Servants Warned About Farts in the Workplace." Right, so it's serious. I know it's funny, but it's also serious. This was some training that was carried out by the Scottish Civil Service. Wings Over Scotland have done a much better analysis of it than I can do here, but I'll put all the links in the usual thing. And it's about a Trans 101 class for civil servants, in which they describe women as feminist appropriating radical transphobes, or farts for short. This is the same thing that also tells you that there's no such thing as biological sex, and that gay men are attracted to women who think they're men, and it's just the usual rubbish that comes out of these people's gobs. But here's the funny bit. When you look up the person that's actually doing the training, and you can find that yourself, I'm not going to tell you the name here, but you can find it. Turns out that he's into BDSM in medieval times with Jesus Christ getting a good whipping. It always goes to the same place, doesn't it? Always goes to the same place with these weird people. Medieval BDSM practice, and he's a queer theorist artist. Well, fucking colour me surprised. It's a queer theory artist. They're everywhere, these nut jobs. Right, so go and have a look. It's hysterical, but also deeply disturbing. So that's the first piece of news. And the first question one must ask oneself is, one a fart? Is one a fart? And the next piece of news is from Miriam Coates MP, who spoke yesterday. Made a speech, 33 minutes and I think 15 seconds. And if you haven't seen it, you're missing out. It's an absolute barnstormer. And it tears to pieces the materials that are being taught to children in schools. And there is stuff on there that will make your jaw drop. So we've got queer, medieval, Christ whittling twits on one side, and we've got weirdos going into school and telling children about strangulation on the other. So you need to have a look. I'll put all the links as usual in, but my goodness, what a woman. Phenomenal speech. And really interesting. Now, I'd mentioned all this on LinkedIn, but I put it on, I'll get 2,000 views and I get very few comments. There are some who do comment, and you know who you are, and you know that I'm grateful. But there are many who don't. There are messages that I get from many who won't because they're frightened. But this is frightened of what? These weirdos? It's time to speak up. Go to your HR and tell them they're fucking full of shit. That's what I do. Yeah, it might cost you your job, I know. It's easy for me to say, see. I am my own HR. So that was great. Watching Miriam yesterday was an absolute inspiration. Then the guy that stood up afterwards and spoke, I just want to throw shit at the television. It's like, you don't know what you're talking about. You're an ideologue. These mad people. But that was the first. So there's two, right? So Miriam Coates, the artist, queer fart driver, and the great stuff is from the university. Now this is really good. The universities have got a new teaching excellence framework. Right, how they're going to teach and how they're going to be judged on what they teach and monitored on what they teach. Now you understand that most of this crap has come from universities. It's taken a while to get through, but it went from the university department, gender studies, queer theory, all that sort of nonsense, and then worked its way through by bringing out activist students who were then went and wiggled their way into HR and went about ruining organisations and throwing power and oppression narratives around to make people hate each other. Right, so they're doing that now. It's going to stop. The new teaching excellence framework means that they're going to take into account outcomes, not what they currently work with, student satisfaction, right? Customer satisfaction from students. Students aren't the customers. They're the bloody product. I'm the customer. You're the public, who pays the majority of the cost of their degree despite their loan, are the customer. So they're going to change that to outcomes. Glorious. Which will be based on things such as, what will they earn when they leave? That was the first shot across the bows, and then the second one arrived this morning. Oh, glorious, glorious day, and frambtious joy. They're also going to ensure that advertising for each course must contain the dropout rates, and the finish rates, and the expected final salaries. This just couldn't get any better. Right? Couldn't get any better. So if you're doing something like STEM, low dropout rate. So STEM, low dropout rate. You'll be able to see it. Prospective learners will be able to see it. STEM, low dropout rate, high completion rate, good salaries. If you're doing, I'm a fat, queer, dyke, theory, gender, colonialist, arse piece, right? Then dropout rate, 94%. Then you won't go, right? So, these courses that aren't going to give anybody any real benefit will go. Because all of that about the outcomes will depend on whether or not the government's going to fund you. So that's a red hot poker up the Jacksie of the university nonsense merchants, and I'm glad to see it. But it's the same old stuff. It's unreality. It's not telling everybody the truth. Right across all this, from our mad queer artists teaching people how to be nutters in the civil service, right the way through to the rubbish they're teaching in universities, is all the same thing. Don't forget the postmodern udder with its 3 septic tits. Don't forget them. So it's really, really good news to be able to tell you this, and I just had to jump on and say it. So other than that, I don't think there's much else to tell you. Oh, apart from the fact that the guy that's teaching the civil service said that the idea of male and female didn't exist before whiteness, before colonialism, before we colonised places. Yeah. Right? That's racist as fuck, isn't it? I mean, that really is just racist. They're just mad, these people. Absolutely mad. You know, the poor people that were colonised were so stupid they don't know the difference between a man and a woman. Really? Why don't they just fire these people? It's so difficult to understand why they keep them around. So you must today interrogate yourself, and you must ask yourself the very serious question: are you a feminist, appropriating, radical, transphobe, or fart? As for me, as an older gay man, and there are a few of us on YouTube doing things now, Clive and Dennis and people like that, Mr. Menno, who by the way is nowhere near as old as we are, that I am in fact a trans usurping radical daddy, or turd for short. Happy jesting. Bye all.